Yeah, okay. Good morning, one and all. It was very happy to meet you again after a long time. So today we gather here for a topic of JK video, the quality of total attention. So we will start the session with universal prayer first, and then we will go with the video, and we will have the discussion after the video. Woe hidden life vibrant in every atom. Woe hidden love embracing all in oneness. O hidden light shining in every creature, may each who feels himself as one with thee know he is also one with every other. Om Shanti.
Okay, we can start now.
Yeah. So please have the video first, and after watching the video, we will discuss on the subject. Okay. So we had gone through the video, and it was very nice video. Like he covered all the topics like attention, and we discussed about what is memory, what is thought, which are very crucial points. So let's begin the discussion. I will start the discussion with what all the questions I have. I do have. So I will pose the questions and take up the questions, and we will discuss on the subject. So my first question is like, what is the difference between the attention and concentration? Because there is a chance to confuse in between these two. Nowadays, the education system is majorly based on the concept of concentration, not on the concept of attention. So, if we know the difference between the what is attention and what is concentration, that might help the student a lot. And the second point, what I observed is the the quality of total attention involves a great silence. If you observe, when you are in a total attentive state, which is a complete kind of silence involves in that total attention, and the because if you observe while he is telling, he's just mentioned one point like the whole nature is a part of I am, uh, which is nothing but when you are totally attentive, when you have the total quality of attention in you, then only it is possible to mark up that such kind of sentences. You know, the whole nature is part of I am. So that happens only when you are totally attentive. So just have the discussion, like just take up the question between like what is the difference between attention and concentration. Anybody can participate.
Anybody who wants to speak, you can unmute yourself or raise your hand, or you can switch on the video. You can spotlight you. The question is difference between attention and concentration. Yeah, because most of the time we are taught to concentrate, and whether it's in education or even the prerequisite to meditation, it is said is concentration. And any distraction in concentration is called distraction. I mean, when you lose your attention, concentration, it is called a distraction. but attention is something else. So anyone who wants to share any thoughts on this or understanding and make this. Ganesh Kumarji, yes.
Thank you. My understanding, in concentration, you have a subject and there is a thought process. And the thought process involves memory as well. But what I understand by what JK is talking about attention is, no, you don't have preconceived ideas at all. You're fully absorbed in that particular subject. You don't, there is no self, there is no idea that you are looking at something, you are watching something. When you look at a tree, you already have a preconceived idea about it. What is that kind of tree, what fruits it gives, and things like that. So when you're trying to concentrate, you're going to concentrate only with the known ideas, not anything new. Whereas attention is without any of those things, you're fully absorbed the true self. You forget yourself. I mean, that's my understanding of what JK is trying to say. I mean, just to consider. I mean, it may not be the right one, but you could consider.
No, what you said is true. Like in concentration, what happens is there involves a subject and there involves thought. But whereas in attention, as you said, there is no such kind of thought and subject involved in attention. But to simplify the thing, let me explain. Like, for suppose concentration involves a reaction. For suppose if at all if you are studying a book, a lot of disturbances happen around you, and you are trying to oppose those disturbances, and you are just trying to focus on the only one particular point. So when you are opposing the external things and when you are focusing on only one point, that is nothing but concentration. In this concentration, there is a particular point, there is a particular focal point involved, and based on the focal point, there is a circumference. When there is a center, obviously there is a circumference for that center. So when there is a center, there is a circumference, and when there is a circumference, that circumference is very limited. But when there is no center, there is no circumference, and when there is no circumference, that is unlimited. So that unlimited thing is nothing but attention. So what happens here is during the nowadays children, especially the school children, they are trying to concentrate on the book. They are trying to concentrate on the subject. They are trying to focus on the subject just by closing their ears or not seeing outside, and simply they are like a blindfolded horses, I can call it. So that is not the way how you have to educate a children. We have to educate him to have this quality of attention. Even if you see in meditation also, people nowadays are telling, try to concentrate on the your sahasra one point, or your agna, or your manipur, something. So they just mentioning some point and they just asking you to concentrate on that particular point. What happens here is, if at all if you concentrate on a particular point, that is very limited. Your entire senses will become very limited for that. What we have to do, if you really want to meditate, is you have to pay attention to the eternal. You have to pay attention to the universe. You have to pay attention to the unknown. Because when you are concentrating on the known, that is not at all a meditation in my sense. Meditation is nothing but you have to go beyond, like beyond the limited things, beyond the known. And coming to the education part, so we have to habituate the children, like how to pay attention, not concentration. How can we do this? How can we educate the children? Like this is concentration and this is attention.
We have Brother Jitendra ji also to share something.
Yes.
I was saying that attention and concentration, higher than those two, is awareness. When there is awareness, that means you are in present and now. So when you are reading a book, concentrating on it or paying attention to it, but better than that, having the awareness of the meaning, what is written in the book, what are you reading in the book, that is more important. So we should be telling people about awareness, children about awareness, so that we are in present.
No, awareness is entirely a different topic. I can say, like, for suppose right now we are speaking here, but I am aware of my surroundings. I am aware of the walls. I am aware of people who are moving there. But it is not like that. I am attentive to them. I'm paying attention to them. Being aware is something different, and being attentive is something different. Like for suppose during the day, we do all kind of activities. Okay, like are you aware of everything? How you are moving your hands, how the eyes are blinking, how you are speaking? Not exactly, right? So, but during night, while you are sleeping, can we call that sleep as attentive? You are sleeping in attention. We can't, right? Because that is something very different state. There is no such thing like I'm sleeping with attention. Because while you are sleeping, there is no subject present at all. There is no center at all. You are completely off. So that is nothing but attention. The awareness is definitely a different thing because awareness involves a choice. Whether I want to see that or I don't want to see that, choice exists in awareness. Okay, so what JK is used to tell is like to have the choiceless awareness. When that choiceless awareness is again, we can call it as an attention.
Shama Akka, you wanted to say something?
Thank you, Shikarana. It's wonderful to be with you here. Working from the here and now, as you pointed out, and also connecting to my own experience of attention and concentration. See, here the impetus that has been given to us in the here and now are JK and his thoughts on attention. And we have present here this question of what is attention and what is concentration and what is their role in learning. There was this remark on memory and thought. So, when we are asked to concentrate, the beginning of the task is with somebody else. So then we get into descriptions, we get into memory and thought, and then sometimes we get led away from both attention and concentration, although the intention is to concentrate. Okay. So to me, it looks like we arrive at a pool or a pond. One is that somebody says, concentrate on the pool. That is an outside-in experience, saying, I have been in the pool, I know what it's like, and I have swum there. Okay? But the truth is, the child cannot learn to swim from my memory or my thought of swimming. The child cannot connect to the water unless he is immersed in the pool himself. And this is often the challenge that we create and experience in education. We think that because we can describe or name or share a memory, the child will automatically learn. The child will learn that this was your experience. And that is often not enough for him to just feel the totality of his experience in water. So the real task before the teacher, if the idea is to get them to swim, then you have to ease them into the pool. If your idea is to get them to describe what the pool looks like, then be aware that they may not have experienced the pool and receive it from that level. So it is a question of meeting the learner, meeting the learner not from your experience, but shifting the attention away to the learner and concentrating on keeping that process going. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Shamaji. That was very nice explanation. So that's it. Is it depends on how a child is responding, or see, for suppose if you put him into difficulties, or if you, yeah, that's true. Like for suppose if at all, if a mind is under such a kind of trouble, or in a kind of difficulty state, obviously it tries to find out a way, and while finding a way, it goes into the state of some kind of attentive state, I can call it. That's what you try to explain right now, what I understood from your saying.
Can I respond? Thank you for that understanding. See, the way we use words can be in the way helpful or not. It's like the tea shop, when you want tea, the tea is helpful. Otherwise, it's just an obstacle, and there are people there. You have to go around it, So, to come back to this, to understand a child's experience, the teacher has to be prepared and open. That is a real challenge for adults, because we still come from the mindset that we know and the child does not. That is why there is a teacher-child relationship itself. And that is exactly what he's saying. Can you break away that shackle and be open to the experience of the knowing in the child?
Correct.
The focus is not on what you know, but how you are able to receive what the child either knows or wants to know next. That is a very big barrier. Part of our conditioning, which is really the shackle that Krishnamurti confronts, is this, that I know and the child does not. And again, we know that is not true, because the child comes knowing and learning things before we knew how to teach him. All the process of development has happened without the assistance of the adult, but with the availability of the adult to provide protection and to provide food and to provide a safe space so the animals won't eat him up from those times. So we are in a position to just keep the space available and safe and receiving. That is the role of the adult. So at this point, if we look at our role, it is as learner, not as the adult, but as the child in that sense. And Krishnamurti has modeled how to hold that space by throwing some impulses in our way, by throwing some thoughts, but without letting his experience hinder our experience and our understanding and knowledge.
There is an interesting question to Brother Ganesh Kumarji from New Zealand in the chat box. I can read for you, Brother Harnath, or you want to take?
I had already seen that. An young child watching a new cartoon, the child is glued to the TV. What shall we call it? Attention or concentration? Exactly. We can, yeah, that's a good example for attention, because see, if you see a child, when you are giving him a toy, or when you are giving him some kind of a piece of chocolate or something else, he pays a total attention, because a child doesn't have any subject lies in him. A child doesn't have that kind of thought activity, So definitely we can call it as a good example for attention. And
I think in that example actually gave a kind of thought, rather, or I don't know, some understanding, that in that sense we can say that in attention, concentration is already implied, exists. But it is not always that in concentration, attention is also there. Because when we are attentive to something, the concentration is already there. Because that's what concentration, the philosophy of concentration teaches, that concentrate on this. Like in a class, the teacher is telling me to concentrate on the book, but I see a kite flying outside. Suddenly, whole attention and concentration is on the kite. But for the teacher, it is a distraction. But so in attention, I think concentration already. But when I'm trying to concentrate or I'm to concentrate on something, then it is not necessarily that attention is there, because it's rather a struggle to concentrate on that thing. That's what I just thought.
Yeah,
Ashin,
that's what. No, I think I have very clearly explained the difference between attention and concentration, right? In attention, there is no subject, but in concentration, there is a subject and there is a center. That's why there is a circumference.
no,
But
no,
in
sorry, I'm sorry. I'm not saying in concentrating, I'm saying in concentration. Like when you are attentive to something, when there is total attention, there is also total concentration. Because concentration means concentrate on that thing, right? But in attention means you can be attentive to something right now, and then next moment you can be attentive to the next thing and the next thing.
no. That is a big blunder mistake. Attention will never be a continuous activity. Okay, because you can't always stay in a total attention continuously. Is it possible to stay in an attentive state continuously? If you ask me, no. If it is continuous, then it is not an attention, because attention is something happens only for a certain point of time. Okay, if it is happening continuously, then there is a chance of thought is playing some mischievous activity there, and that continuous activity is not at all an attention.
No, if you're saying that attention, there is no self, there is no center,
Correct.
right? So means any human being who has reached that state of no self, right? Let's take an example of anyone who has reached that state, or Krishna, Jesus. So it means you are trying to say that they are only attentive for a brief span of time, and rest of the time the self appears in.
I'm not talking about this kind of so-called what we can say the spiritual beings, but I'm generally speaking, like if at all, if you take our case.
Yes, of course, that is the, I mean, but I'm talking about the ultimate, what, what we look forward to or something like that. Of course, we are practitioners. So, of course, that span of attention will be broken and there will be.
Then let's take that case also. See, for suppose we don't know exactly what is the truth, whether he has spent a continuous attentive state, whether it may be Krishna or whether it may be Vishnu or whether it may be Shiva or whether it may be some X, Y, Z. Okay, we don't know the fact, but can we know by ourselves? Let's inquire into this. Why? Because is it possible for a human being to have a continuous attentive state? If he is in a continuous attentive state, can we call it as a samadhi, or can we call it as like he is dead?
No, it is a state, as you yourself said, that there is no center and there is circumference in that. We cannot even call that the
Can
consciousness may be working body.
Can we live without center?
Sorry?
Can we live without center?
Yes, why not?
For how much extent I am asking?
No, that's not the question. How much if it is
That's
possible or not.
No. You are telling it is a continuous state. That's why I'm asking that question. If it is a continuous state, for how long you can continue that attentive state? I'm asking.
No, but why do you want to know that how long or how short? It is just a state.
Why? Because it is not a continuous state.
Oh, okay. I think you are saying that because like our attention keeps breaking, right? That's why. Anyway, I don't want to. Go into that. Vimalji wants to say something also. Yeah.
I just want to ask, what do we understand by attention? Because now there's few questions are there. Anybody can answer. Does attention give us knowledge? If you say attention gives us insight, then doesn't insight eventually become knowledge? So insight and knowledge, if knowledge is of the past and insight is of the future, eventually insight will also become knowledge because then it will become past. So does attention give us insight? Does attention eventually lead us to knowledge? Okay. And yeah, this was the main thing that I wanted to ask. I mean, there's something else, but it's not coming to me. But can anybody answer this?
So can I answer?
Yes, please.
Yeah, Shamaji wants to answer this.
No,
You
I will
carry on,
add to
sir.
it. I will add to it after you answer. Please go ahead.
Okay. So the question is like attention involves knowledge. Is attention and knowledge? You're asking, right?
No. Does attention lead to knowledge? You say
Lead
attention.
to knowledge.
People will say attention leads to insight. My understanding is insight is the same as knowledge. It's words,
Same.
right? It's some
Okay.
form of words. Somebody's insight eventually becomes the knowledge of some future person. So to say insight is not knowledge, I won't accept that. So would you say now, the question is, does attention lead to insight, or is attention a state beyond thought itself, which means we cannot describe it in words?
Okay. So my answer for this is attention leads to nothing. Attention leads to nowhere, because when something is leading to you something else, some point, then there is it is a very limited thing. When attention is leading you to knowledge, knowledge is again a limited thing, right? When attention is leading you to insight, insight is not at all knowledge. Insight is something else. It is self-knowledge. Self-knowledge, there is a great difference between knowledge and self-knowledge. Okay. Self-knowledge, we count it as a limited thing because it's a very unlimited thing, because it takes more than many lives to know about ourselves, because still now what the history is you, what history is not reading books and this thing, because history of mankind is you. Since ages we are studying the self, and still we are at a place where we don't know what is self.
Yeah, so this self you're talking about is the self with a capital S. Okay. Now, I'd just like to ask, continue with what Shama wants to say.
Okay. These are wonderful pebbles or gems, depending on how we use them, all these words and thoughts that you have thrown. So let me create a situation where somebody is learning to drive. Okay, I'm learning to drive. Okay, it is an action in this world. So we are not talking about high evolution. I arrive at my state of evolution from what I know. Okay, it's very interesting, the word insight and how it connects to knowledge. So all of us know driving is taught like this. Okay, and attention is okay. I know the brakes are available, but I concentrate on them only when the situation arises. My concentration on the brake is not calm. I'm not concentrating on the brake as I drive. Then I will get nowhere. I attend to the fact that I have a brake, but I concentrate on the whole experience of driving and look at the gap and keep driving. Again, if I concentrate on the obstruction, again, I will get stuck. Okay. So in the process, what Vimalji has brought up is very important. Because now, if I have the insight that my problem is always with gear change, that can lead to new knowledge, and somebody creates a car with auto gear. I can be the person to whom he sells, or I can be the creator of the auto gear. And so I add to human knowledge. So what she brought up is very, very important, that personal experience guides insight. And there is a role for attention there, and it keeps shifting in the real life. And whether there is higher knowledge and lower knowledge, I don't know of any gradation like that. There is a, the way we engage. And there was a very beautiful example of the suite and of the game, video game. And it's also interesting to see how they describe it. They talk about user experience because there they are selling something. What will the user experience when he puts this toffee, or what will he experience when he joins the game? And they also said, yes, they are succeeding in letting the child get absorbed in the experience. So attention, concentration, what they speak of is engagement. How will I engage my user? And make it so absorbing that he will not get engaged with anything else, not be distracted into somebody else. So although their starting point is less noble in that sense than where we are engaging, but the totality is that the child does get absorbed, that the learner gets absorbed, even addicted to the game, to the level of addiction, which sometimes we are unable to do when we speak from a different plane. I just wanted to contribute, and I know I'm not specifically agreeing, but I see this as walking with all of you.
Also, if I may, Brother Harnath.
Yes.
Okay, since this point of insight and knowledge, Vimalji, you have brought up, by knowledge you mean accumulation of data, right? And insight. Yes. So I think it's not because insight is an experience, as far as I understand. Because, like, say, suppose in a certain moment, many of us may have experienced it, that there have sometimes in their mundane activities, maybe you are having a cup of tea in the morning, looking at the sunrise, or just under the tree, or just petting your dog or cat, or just any activity. If suddenly you feel a sense of oneness, that realization which is being taught, which is the ultimate spiritual experience, oneness. There is no other. So for me, that is an insight. But with that insight, what will happen is my relationships will change. I mean, it is not a memory. It is a realization that I am one with everyone, and then it will reflect in my behavior. And it will not end up as a prejudice or a conditioning. And then as long as that experience will remain fresh, my behavior will be as per that insight. But the moment I lose that insight experience, because as Harnath says, it's not, we are still in the learning steps, so we'll fit it or something, then again my behavior will be more self-centered, those things. Then I think I don't know if I am communicating what I wanted to. That insight is something to experience, and of course knowledge to accumulate for the things to do in the work and some technical things. And then the only thing, maybe then every experience will become the now experience. You will, like, even a liar friend of mine, if comes in front of me, I will not look at him that he's a liar. Now I have to be, I will look at him as he is right.
Can I just cut in before, because you're going to say something else. So the previous point I just want to talk about, when you say that insight is that sense of oneness. Am I understanding you correctly? That sense of oneness. So it's a sense rather than something in words or language or thoughts. It's like an experience, you can say. That, according to you, is insight. Am I right?
Yes.
This is how you define it.
Yes.
Traditionally, insight is not defined like that. Traditionally, insight is a sudden quantum jump to a knowledge where there are no logical steps from A to B. You're odd A to Z. There is no logical thinking. You see a problem, like Tama ma'am just now said beautifully, that you don't like moving gears, your mind thinks the quantum leap. Can I make a car which has no gears? Gearless, a sudden, this is quantum. So that Archimedes, eureka, that quantum leap that he made from the bathtub. So it's something, I mean, it's that's what traditionally we think of as insight. I don't know about the way you're saying as insight. So anybody else wants to agree or disagree with Vikharji, because I am not able to fully accept that
I
word.
agree, but actually this is also, okay, maybe I would add a word spiritual insight. That's it. But even if, let's say, remove the word spiritual, this is also a quantum jump in level of consciousness, because we are living on a common level with self-centered, and suddenly in the field of self-centered activity, you jump to a consciousness for a moment, for moments, to a field of consciousness where there is no self. So that, in that sense, for me, that is also an insight. But yes, insight in many of the scientists discovering so many things. Yes, of course. Even Buddha, I mean, I would call that an insight when he was in meditation and not finding any solutions. The person in the book, the teacher teaching his student, who told him that if you make the string of the veena too tight, it will break, and if you make the strings of the music will not come. This sentence from the man gave him the insight of the middle path, because before that he was doing extreme. So I think any realization or experience has a higher knowledge in whatever, in a mechanical, technical, spiritual, philosophical thing. Or I mean, I take it as like something new or something different. That's what, yeah.
Can I say something new? I mean, something different from my understanding when I'm listening to this video is that Krishnamurti is trying to guide us into a new way of using our mind. It's not that we are not using our mind. It's not, we're not supposed to use our mind or thing, but a new way of using our mind. And that's what I feel we're not able to crack here, because it seems like, I mean, it's difficult to understand, but at the same time, this new way of thinking or not thinking, or new way of using the mind leads us to a different way of being. Like Shikhar very correctly pointed out, that is correct actually what he said, according to me also, that there is a sense of being which has changed. It's not, there's no continuity there, just that being has changed. So I like that, but the whole aspect of what Krishnamurti is saying is not clear to me, on as I am understanding what is the way he says that one should use one's mind, which according to me he says do it all the time. He's not saying you do it now and then don't do it later. He's saying use your mind in this way. So look at a tree, don't think of what all you know about the tree. Don't think of the name, don't just look at the tree as if it's the very first thing you have ever seen. What is happening to you at that moment? What are the sensations? He's not going into that. I wish he had gone into that. And what? According to me, trees must have been speaking to him. They would have been telling him things. So I don't know. He never goes into all that. But he just keeps on asking you, look at the tree. So again, somebody else can continue. Just that's all.
Okay, coming back to the topic, we had discussed a lot today, and the quality of attention. What is that quality of attention? When you ask what is the quality of that attention, the quality of attention is a great silence, nothing else. When you are working in the field of knowledge, when you are working in the fields of thought, when you are working in the fields of known, when you are working in the fields of memory, or when you are working in the fields of concentration, then there is no possibility to find out something new, because these are all acts from the existing things. These are all acts, memory, thought, the past, everything is very, very limited. When you are out of the realms of these limited things, then only it is possible for a child or for a human being to find out something new. So, why a human mind always seeks for something new? Why can't it be satisfied with the existing? Again, this is a question we can take up and we can discuss. Like, why a human being always searching for new things? Why it is not satisfied with the existing? Because it is the nature of human being to have some, always to have cope up with some desire. To have something new is again a kind of desire, I can say, isn't it? Can we stay in a state of nothing? Can we stay in a state of no? Can we stay in that state of nothing? I can say it again. I don't know. When you say I don't know, there is a tremendous possibility to know. Okay. Anything else? Anybody wants to add something else to the topic?
Yes, Shamaka. Yes.
Sorry.
Shamaka, you want to listen?
Yeah, I'm thankful that this group has met this morning because the things we are discussing are so wonderful. I think Shikharji, what he spoke about insight and what Vimalji spoke about insight gave me new insights on how insight applies to abstraction and how insight applies to concrete action. So both were approaching from two different. It was wonderful. And then this whole need for attention to discover, Harinathji, either our old connection or a new way forward. Both require attention. Take the priest who is mastering a mantra and can actually use it to effect a change. He is attending to what is old and operationalizing it enough, mastering it. So you can use mastery of old things, which we do all the time. When we build a simple mud house, how many of us can actually take mud and build a house? It is completely old, but there's nothing new. But then when we actually build that house, it becomes something new. Although every idea used in that construction may be old. So it is not a totally engagement with the old and the new, but there is a nice transition from the past, present, and future are all gone when you are attending to something. When you attend to something, it's not divided, it becomes one. Your thought and my thought become one. That is the whole possibility for attention. The limitation of concentration, like you defined, is that there is already a circle saying, let us concentrate on this. When you go out of that circle, you already start attending even on that limitation. And then what happens is not just a transfer of information between you and me, but the possibility that each of us is transformed by this interaction. Each of us is shaped by the other person's understanding, as well as the knowledge shared, as well as the insight gained into the different ways to understand any particular impulse. That is the possibility for learning. That is the possibility for teaching.
Obviously, certain physical things it should be taught. Otherwise, a child don't know how to behave, because there are certain physical things which we should have to taught them. It is not like that everything he will learn by his own. Obviously, he will observe the surroundings and he will learn from the surroundings also. And okay, can we go forward or can we close the session?
No, no, I think, okay, we can go forward also because it has been such a really insightful discussion, I would say, conducted by Harnath, but otherwise we can close and people have a lot of food for thought also to go beyond whatever you say.
Yeah, nothing from my side. I think we have discussed the subject very, very deep, and it was very nice discussion.
Okay, then on behalf of the Indian section and all the delegates, I would like to extend gratitude to Harnath for moderating this session. And then all the delegates, Ganesh ji, ji, and Shama to this discussion very vital with their inputs, and all the delegates joined us today for taking time out from their daily routine. And so let us come to the heart and mind. And we go for the closing of today's session with a prayer and wish for the welfare of the whole manifestation. Sarvesham swastirbhavatu, sarvesham shantirbhavatu, sarvesham purnam bhavatu, sarvesham mangalam bhavatu, sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, सर्वे प्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Thank you once again, everyone. The next week session is going to be a special talk, Theosophy Science. So please, if you bring your friends and families, the subject will be fusion of spirituality and science. A very learned person, doctor. So Mr. Pradeep Mohanty. So see you next Sunday, next time. Thank you to the Harnath again. See you.